Good afternoon, everybody. Friends and enemies, and others who have yet to make a decision about me. I apologize to Prime Minister Marape on Monday morning for coughing in front of him and from the front row. And then when he went out shaking hands, I coughed at him again. Now I apologize to all of you for the repeated coughing I've given in the last 3 days in the front row, and I hope you haven't contracted my virus. I wasn't going to speak this afternoon, but the beguiling Anthony Smari came by the dinner last night and persuaded me to resume my role, though perhaps in a diminished level. Anyway, this afternoon I just want to put what's happened in the last few days in context. This event was an invention of the Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, as we used to be called, because we're now CORE, back in 1995. It was a biennial event to showcase mining and petroleum in PNG to investors in Australia. These were the early days of the Chamber. The event has grown way beyond that. From what we used to consider was a successful event of maybe of 300 or so people. Now I hear we're pushing near to 1,500 people. It's really quite great. I'll take my glasses off, I can read better that way. Because apart from my virus, my eyesight is going. The government's firm support has once again been demonstrated by the PM giving the keynote address. He said of the Chamber, "You are strong and you put PNG on the map. We are not a bad place," was his message at the front of his talk. He added that there must have been some confusion over the last 4 years in some minds of some people about resource investment in PNG, but we mean well. He defined the desired outcomes as, you win and we win. The PM talked of growth of PNG's economy from its humble origins. Budgets are getting larger and larger. The economy is growing. The population is growing. He talked of the forthcoming investment in the law and justice sector, which should improve conditions, not only for the people of Papua New Guinea, but also for investments and investors. He spoke of the all too apparent endorsement of PNG by our major companies, ExxonMobil, Total Energies, Newmont and Barrick, and asked others to not fear. He said, we are a robust democracy. We have an independent judiciary, resilient people, and a unique environment. He mentioned the impending Big Four developments, Big Four Ps, Pasca, Porgera, Papua, and Pinyang, and his excitement of the Ws, what should be called really leads for oil and gas, which may eventuate to the potential of there being gas-sparing prospects. Wildebeest, Whale, and Wolverine. These large structures have been defined by seismic and may become prospects worth drilling and may possibly contain hydrocarbons. Let's hope that the due diligence of our lead operator, ExxonMobil, will bring that all the way through to discovery. And of course, we mustn't forget, because I'm an oilman, I tend to forget mining, we mustn't forget the extent of our mining projects and the Wafi Gopal project, a very large mine. Let's hope that gets moving. He importantly reiterated, echoed his requests from previous keynotes for projects to take landowners with them. Indeed, this conference is increasingly diverse in its range of stakeholder attendance. Years ago, there would have been few Papua New Guineans attending this conference. Now it seems that the whole of Port Moresby does. And increasingly more landowners and more Papua New Guinea businessmen. And more of those managers and businessmen are Papua New Guineans. It's great to see. As we saw at the Lay CanConnex event, August, was that? Yep. There is a greater capacity, a greater willingness and ability in the extractive industries to work with host communities. Indeed, it is totally necessary. Our communities cannot and will not just be witnesses looking on. They need and want to participate and gain in every way possible, in every development opportunity that they can realize. The PM mentioned the security agreement with Australia and the defense agreement with the USA, respectively helping with internal and external security. And when questioned about the role of China, he said that would be economic only. He mentioned PNG's treasured forests and our negative carbon footprint, and appealed to the big countries to take the lead in reducing their emissions before seeking countries such as PNG to phase out their hydrocarbon production. Something that we all feel quite ardently in Port Moresby, that don't tell us what to do, you sort out what you've caused in the first place. The Treasurer and the Mining and the Petroleum and Energy Minister gave their updates. Thus, the PM and his ministers set the tone for this more inclusive event, where everyone with business to do in the resources and energy sector meets, where we meet more readily than we do in our capital, Port Moresby, where we rub shoulders for hours on end, lunch and learn, listen and appreciate each other's views. 28 years ago, in the pioneering days of this event, there was no such grand rapport like this. There was only a limited spectrum of stakeholders attending this conference. Now we have to translate our enthusiasm into the field and into the communities in which we work with ever more vigor. There can be no losers or people left behind. Throughout the conference and exhibition, we see this improved inclusivity. And that future from our investment can be very bright for PNG and also for its investors if this momentum is maintained. I have personally had the joy to be involved with Papua New Guinea since 1976. And this is my sincere desire to see it prosper. The people are great. Of course there's problems. Show me any country in the world where you invest in extractive industries and there aren't problems of one kind or another. But if you work with the people of Papua New Guinea in their ways, you will make your profits and have a very enjoyable time doing so. Thank you very much.